Dr. Matthew Wester is with us today. He's a doctor of audiology with Ascent Audiology, which has 3 locations in the West Valley, in Glendale, Goodyear, and Surprise. You can reach them at 602-863-4203, 602-863-4203, and you can find them online at AscentAudiologyArizona.com. Ascent is spelled A-S-C-E-N-T. Okay, Dr. Wester, we've decided that gunshots and concerts are the real problem. I have a new addition to the list: NBA basketball games. I was with the Miami Herald in Florida for a number of years, and we had a box there. We also had front row seats, the ones the celebrities sit in. And I thought it was doing a nice thing for my wife, because I brought her down, put her in the seat, and after about a minute, she said, "I want to leave." And the reason was that the sound at court level was deafening. And that is something I don't think you might think that, I'm putting my ears at risk by going to an NBA basketball game. It was the loudest thing I'd ever heard. Now, she was nice enough to go sit in the car until the game was over, but some of the, I guess you would say, maybe inadvertent sound, especially in arenas that are enclosed versus, say, a baseball stadium, which is cavernous and it's very large. But there are all sorts of places we can be exposed to, even with, tell me in regard to this, everybody has an Android, or they have a smartphone at this point, and they plug in the headphones. They can turn that volume up pretty loud.
Yes, they can, and that can be dangerous. And a lot of phones have alerts about how loud you're playing music for how long, because that's key. It's how loud it is for how long consecutively. And some advice that we give to teens is no more than 60% of its max volume for 60 minutes straight. The 60-60 rule. Turn that phone down to 60% of its max and listen to that safely for no more than 60 minutes.
Now, you had mentioned that we start to develop hearing issues in our 50s.
Yes.
What are the signs that we will be able to observe in our 50s and 60s that something has happened and our hearing is no longer pristine, for lack of a better expression?
It happens very gradually, so it's difficult to notice, but usually what patients report first is speech in background noise is not as clear as it used to be. I hear some of the words, and some of the words I don't catch. It sounds like people are mumbling, or I hear people talking, but the speech isn't clear. That's typically what people notice first. Hearing loss from aging sometimes comes with ringing in the ears, sometimes it doesn't. So if you have ringing in the ears, that's a sign that you might have some hearing loss, and you ought to get your hearing tested. As a field, we encourage anyone age 60 and older to get at least a baseline hearing test and find out where their hearing is at. And Bill, you mentioned, with vision, we get our vision tested every year or every 2 years. Once you have hearing loss, that ought to be part of your annual healthcare regimen, is getting a hearing test once a year. Once you have hearing loss, you want to get it tested every year would be standard.
Dr. Matthew Wester is with us. He's a doctor of audiology at Ascent Audiology in Glendale, Goodyear, and Surprise. I think the thing that is scariest about this is it creeps up on you, number one. And number two, the other thing about it is that the solutions to it are not like losing weight. You can lose weight, you can use Ozempic or whatever, but once this has happened, is it fair to say it's generally not reversible?
That's absolutely true. We call age-related hearing loss a chronic and progressive healthcare problem. It usually doesn't come from a disease, but it happens as a part of natural aging. It does not reverse, it does not get better, and it will slowly get worse over time. And so once people start treating their hearing loss, they need to treat it for the rest of their lives. And that means getting regular hearing tests. It means keeping up on hearing aid technology, because hearing aids are computers for processing sound. And as computer chips can handle more and more information in a tiny, tiny size, hearing aids can process sound more like your brain does. There's no computer like the natural computer of the brain. Hearing aids are trying to simulate that, and they're not perfect at it. But as technology improves, we get more support for the brain. We lower risk for dementia more with updated technology. So most people need to consider getting a new set of hearing aids about every 5 years.
Now, you have people who will have wax in their ears.
Yes.
The YouTube is a wonderful place. I never thought that YouTube would succeed in. There's a woman, she's now got a television show. She's the Zit Popper.
Yes.
Believe it or not, she's now got a national TV show.
Yeah.
She's not on YouTube anymore. Well, she probably is, but
People love that stuff.
but the other thing is the wax. You can actually get quite a bit of wax in your ears. To what extent could that affect your hearing?
Very little. Wax can build up in your ear, and it's skin oils, and it's different from person to person. Typically, wax will migrate its way out, and it doesn't back up, but it can easily back up in some people's ear shape. And really, for it to cause any hearing loss at all, it would have to be 100% plugged. If it's 95% plugged, the sound will get in there. So a lot of people come to me thinking, oh, when I get this wax taken out, I'm going to hear a lot better. And maybe they think they do, but if you test it, it doesn't get better. So wax really is not the problem. You don't want to have too much wax in your ear if you're wearing hearing aids, because it clogs up hearing aids. So it is something that we deal with, and it's something that should be taken care of if needed. But it's really not the source of the problem of hearing loss, speech understanding, risk for dementia.
So that's an important advisory from you today, that if you think, I've got some earwax and that's probably the source of it, it probably isn't.
Probably isn't. Most age-related hearing loss, or all age-related hearing loss and noise-induced hearing loss, is deep embedded in your skull bone. And the only way to know whether you have hearing loss there or not is to measure it. And many people don't think they have hearing loss when they do.
So the regimen should really be just as we would update our vision corrective measures by going to the ophthalmologist or the optometrist every couple of years for a vision test and new glasses or new contacts. We should be doing the same thing when it comes to hearing, and it's even more acute because the world understands that most people are wearing glasses.
Yes.
But the hearing aid is a major step for a lot of people in that it's something that they can be embarrassed by.
That's right. There's stigma to treating hearing loss. And it's probably becoming less as the decades go on, and it's pretty normal to see young kids with something in their ear. But the stigma of treating hearing loss, because it's equated with aging, and in our society, unfortunately, we put a negative value on aging. And glasses don't have that same stigma, because some people need glasses even when they're young. So glasses in treating vision loss is not as associated with aging as hearing loss is, and so there's not as much stigma.
When we get back, we're going to talk about how you correct hearing loss, and been a lot of technological developments in that area. Dr. Matthew Wester is with us, a doctor of audiology at Ascent Audiology, which has 3 locations in the West Valley: Glendale, Goodyear, and Surprise. You can find them online at AscentAudiologyArizona.com, and Ascent is spelled ASCENT. You can reach out to them by phone at 602-863-4203, 602-863-4203.